everybody. How do I change the background?
You want to figure it out? Put yourself on mute.
Hello, everybody. 6 o'clock. We're just doing a sound check now to see if. Okay, I get an echo, so I guess. Yeah. Okay. Sound is okay. Then logging from New York.
Do you have you open or
Okay, I think we're about to start. A few known faces in the chat, which is super cool. Thank you all for being here. It's quite an honor to have such a diverse audience. Hello, Hamburg. That's my first question, actually, to everybody. Can you put in the chat where are you tuning in for today, so that one we get used to the chat, and also, yeah, I'd love to hear from all corners of the world. New York, Italy, Sweden. This is amazing. Thank you so much for being here and for being interested in this topic. London, Montreal, I love Montreal, Portugal, Seattle, Firenze, Texas, Australia, Finland, Ireland, Abu Dhabi. Wow, this is fantastic. Thank you so much for being here today. London again, Switzerland, Cambridge in the UK, the Netherlands. Yes, I'm also calling from the Netherlands today. North Carolina. Yeah, super amazing. We are all here today because this topic is really important, and I think the more the merrier. From Savannah, from Pakistan, from Bristol, this is a topic that's affecting us. Is affecting us as educators, affecting the new talent in fashion, and I'm very happy to have such a diverse group to join the conversation. It's going to be a presentation, but the chat will be open all the time. And my co-founder, Carrie, is on the chat as well, answering to questions, as well as I'll pick up some questions as they come. There will be moments for us to pause, to just reflect together. So please don't shy away to put anything, any question, any message in the chat as you see fit, as you see it's worth, not only for me, but for the entire community that is here today. Let's go. I'll just do a quick introduction for those that don't know me. I'm Adriana Pereira. I'm a co-founder of the Fabricant. The Fabricant is a fashion tech startup leading the space of digitalization since 2018. Before the Fabricant, I had 20 years of, I would say, experience in fashion and retail, primarily from very junior up to the boards level. And through all these years, there was one common denominator, an enormous passion for innovation and technology, and really believe that the technology in fashion is a way to solve the most pressing issues of the industry. And just before I left the industry, this is what led me really to leave and start the Fabricant. I was at the board level, and every year the conversation was about how can we continue to grow. And continue to grow was primarily how can we produce more. And at one stage, the maths were not really working anymore for me. Like, what do you mean produce more? People don't need more. And if it was not growing top line, then you would need to grow profit. And that meant maybe lowering the materials, the quality of the materials you're using, changing suppliers to maybe factories that were not necessarily offering the best conditions, or just cutting personnel. That maths of the industry didn't align with my personal values anymore. And together with my co-founder, we took the jump to start the Fabricant. And since 2018, we have been promoting digitalization as the way forward to lead the industry to a more sustainable space. Sustainable in terms of environmental sustainability, but also economical sustainability. I think the two need to come hand in hand. and finally, creative sustainability as well. That is what we have been trying to do. And we have a platform, which I'm going to briefly touch upon at the end, because it's part of also the programs that we offer. And this platform is basically digitalizing the fashion chain. We work with the industry, with several brands, and designers like Jessica really got obsessed, because we are really helping her to be creative again, but also to operate in a more efficient and sustainable manner. But also we work a lot with education. And if anything, it is as much as my passion to work with education, as much as my personal commitment, because we really believe that we are in it together to nurture young talent, to really be able to change the industry. And that is why I'm super humbled to have you all here today. So as an educator, or as a person in the industry right now, I'd love to hear in the chat, what's your biggest AI related headache? Just a short sentence. What is it that is either bothering you or that you're curious about on the topic of AI right now in your function? What are the things that come to mind? Put it on the chat so that we can hear each other's voice and start opening the conversation. Authorship and image rights. Yes, definitely. Pushback from academics. Prompt engineer, and a whole new thing, right? That started. No clear guidelines. Level of quality while using AI. Ethics and assessment. What and how to focus on. Yeah, definitely prompting for students using basic AI tools and claiming ownership of the outcome. Digital fatigue, love that. Struggle on prompting, love the inspirations, but the ideas are very hard to execute physically. Yeah, absolutely, like how we match craftsmanship with very easy generation of content. Too many choices, lack of an integrated education with academia, the ethical several times, prejudicial, how to get students to see the results as an intimate and keep pushing. Glitches, very good. The right or wrong referencing, how to control plagiarism. Precision, stereotypes, yeah, a lot of bias as well, right? AI is there, so no manual learning. Killing creativity and brainstorming. Wow, yeah, loads of very, very valid topics, and we're gonna touch upon them today. And I hope you also touch upon it together, as practitioners in the space. I'll share a few of the most common things I hear, both from educators and from students. Last year, I did alone so many workshops with students and together with educators, and I learned a lot. What I heard the most is from educators is, my students are already using it. How do I assess them? But how do I actually make myself also fit to teach them? Because they're already using it, and sometimes I feel that they are ahead of me. But also when they're using it, what is the right way to assess them? How do I update my curriculum without starting from scratch? Do I need to start from scratch? Oh, I've been teaching in 3D, and do I still need to teach 3D? Is it still valid? What is the impact on the jobs, and how can I prepare my students for the future? And then from the student side is definitely an enormous fear about AI stealing my job. And while they're using it, they are also very scared. Scared about stealing the job, is scared about sustainability. I get so many questions about, but AI has such a consumption of water and energy. Am I becoming even more sustainable? If I'm creating so fast, is it going to lead to overproduction? But also, definitely one of the many topics here in the chat is, can I keep my creation safe? And how can I feel safe also creating? Meaning, how can I avoid crossing the boundaries of IP, of plagiarism? What is it anyway? How do I act responsibly? So I think a lot of the themes that you are suggesting on the chat is definitely things that I've seen. And one that came quite a few times here, but I didn't name, but it's definitely one that I'll be touching upon, is the skills, the craftsmanship. What is it that AI doesn't do? What is it that we still need to teach within this new world? And why it matters, I think all of you that are here know, is it's reshaping. It's definitely reshaping every step on the fashion chain. And we have been doing digitalization for fashion since 2018. It's 8 years. I've never seen something like this. It's absolutely the speed of being introduced, the speed of the tools being developed is mind blowing. Even for me, that it is super deep into the technology. So yeah, it's definitely making massive steps. The students will enter workforce that is already transformed. Already we are seeing brands adopting it and scratching their heads and thinking how I'm going to review my structure, or even smaller labels already restructuring significantly, meaning there will be job displacements and we need to prepare them for that. But equally, the great opportunity is that they're the first generation that is actually learning from you about these tools. So I expect that when they come to the market, they are going to be already one step further and teaching probably a lot of these organizations because they are equipped with the right knowledge. Why it also matters is because of that. If you understand AI, it will help the young talents to navigate it well from a professional development point of view and from an ethics point of view. Nicole, I love your comment about how it is accelerating the fashion cycle even more. I'll come back to that because I think that is also one of the main questions I get, and I feel it's an ethical question more than a tool question. But let's have that conversation very, very soon. Because today's session is about, I'll briefly talk about AI and how we got there, just to lay the foundation. I'm most interested to talk about how it is shaping the fashion system and the implications, and ultimately what we see with the schools that we're working on how it's impacting the curriculum, and how our tools are impacting the industry in practice, and how we are also introducing them in curriculums in different manners. So yeah, let's start from the beginning. AI has been there forever. You know, I think everybody that has been in any kind of industry function has seen whether it's machine learning, deep learning, complex algorithms, but most recently we have Gen AI, and that is the groundbreaking new era. Why is that? Because it's the first time that a computer is mimicking human intelligence. It is learning from patterns and actually making reasoning. So Gen AI can process language, which is a human thing, right? Nobody can process language, only humans until now. It can learn, it can develop perception and reasoning. And that means it is pretty revolutionary. We already experienced it in our daily lives for quite some time without being called Gen AI, whether it's your Spotify list or your Netflix list or your Amazon shopping list or your ChatGPT. Is broadly used. Everybody's using it, and that's the other big change, is that it's not a technology that lives in the back end of an organization. It's a technology that we as end consumers, end users are experiencing every day, and it's making us very comfortable with the technology. It's also very easy to use. And in fashion, I say it's happening everywhere, but there are three distinctive buckets. The first bucket is what I call the more design and product development. That is one bucket. There are a lot of solutions in this area, and there is a very strong adoption. The other bucket is more what I would call the business bucket, is where we see predictive forecasting, predictive pricing, more infrastructure related data modeling with a very, very fast speed. And then the last bucket is more the consumer facing. whether it's the content generation for marketing, socials, or the virtual try-ons and e-commerce. So that is the third bucket. And these three buckets are going, I would say, at same speeds of adoption and of development, which is making a massive impact in the industry. And unlike other technology waves, it is across the board. Doesn't mean if you're H&M or if you're LVMH, you're using it. And these are just the ones that are publicly available saying that they are using it. We have several clients in our user base that use AI, and we're not public about it. They're not public about it, but I can assure you, it's the first time that I see a technology that is as relevant for an independent designer as it is for an Inditex or an LVMH. So the speed of adoption is very fast in the industry, and that's why it's so important for students to have access to it right now. This one very recent quote, I think a few days ago from Dema, which is the new creative director of Gucci, where he was questioned for using AI in a campaign. And I think his quote really summarized, the sentiment right now. This is 2026. If I can use it to do something that gives me a quick idea or visualization of something, why shouldn't I do it? It is like in 2008 when retailers were refusing e-com because it was not quality. I mean, I find it ridiculous. Meaning, this is a tool. It's very valuable. It's providing efficiency. Why should not I use it? And that is the sentiment of the industry. And again, the adoption is very strong. But there are implications. And I think that is the most important thing for us here in this forum of educators. Even if you are in the industry and you're not being a tutor to students, let's call all of us educators, because we have the curiosity to learn more about how it's going and the implications. Absolutely, Dennis. AI is to our industry just what Illustrator and Photoshop were 20 years ago. Absolutely. And again, the difference is that it's so accessible. So accessible. And doesn't need training. The implications are super important for, I think, the young talent and all, industry practitioners. First one, who owns the creation? Who owns the creation? That is a big one, and I would love for you to tell me what you think. So drop on the chat if a student uses AI to generate a print. Whose IP is it? Is it the student IP? Is it the tool that it used? Is it an institution that provided it? Or is it nobody IP? No, Silvio. Okay, what else? Creative tools comparatively, will it impact the Adobe creative tools compared to AI? Yes, definitely. Depends on the license and the country. Okay, great. Student and the tool. The student. Okay, a lot of people saying it's the student that is the owner. Any final thoughts? Okay, great. I will reveal the answer. Okay, great. The answer is it's nobody right now. I think the technology is going faster than the laws. First thing that we all need to know: only humans can hold IP. In the legal spectrum of IP, regardless of fashion, IP is only given to humans. So a machine creating something will never get an IP up until now. If AI generates work without a meaningful human creative direction, it enters the public domain in most jurisdictions. So somebody said depends on the country. It is true. And in the US, depends on the state even. So there are laws emerging. And but right now, unless you can prove that it was meaningfully created through a very, very meaningful human creative direction, beyond just a prompt. A prompt alone is not sufficient. It needs to be a whole, very well documented process. It's not going to be something that you can protect. So again, a prompt alone is not sufficient to claim authorship. Ultimately, the user is responsible. So as we all know, fashion is a very bad discipline in terms of IP rules. But now these very weak IP rules are still the ruling rules for IP and independent of AI. So what are they? What is protected? If you protect, right? Logos and brand names. So a Gucci logo, a Louis Vuitton logo, a brand name is protected if you mean to protect it, can be protected. Unique textiles and prints, the Versace print can be protected, is protected. Distinctive product shapes, like the Birkin bag, if registered, can be protected. But usually, most of the things are not protected. Garment silhouettes, basic clothing designs, fashion trends are not protected, which means that anything that is available in the world that is not protected can be used to develop new creations within the fashion domain. That said, what is really important is if I use the creator and I build on top of that, the initial creator can claim that I infringed. So the big difference right now is because a lot of these creations are digitally done, they can be claimed. So ultimately, what's important for students is you can only use what is available freely to be used through the Creative Commons, or what's available freely to be used in the world of information we have. If somebody picks up a picture that is protected, that is paid for, and used in a creation, you'll be infringing IP rules from a data point of view. And yes, patents are rarely protected as well. So again, the protection of fashion is very, very bad. Even a monogram is not necessarily protected unless you took the decision to protect it. So fashion again is very badly protected, and we know it, and therefore the same IP rules still exist in the AI world as well. The other piece about data, which is super, super important, is protecting your data. And for students, this is a new terrain, and for all of us is new terrain, really, honestly. First thing to ask is, how is this model being trained? If you're using a tool, check it. How is it trained? In which kind of designs? Is my data being used for training? And even ChatGPT, which is used for all of us, the default setting is that my data can train the model. You need to go to the settings and turn it off. So if you haven't done it, do it. Because the default is my information can be used to train ChatGPT. And most of the models available in the market have a setting default that the data that you put in can be used to train the model. So that is super important because in our domain of creativity, we want to make sure that our creations are protected and not used to train models. Review the terms and conditions before starting to use it and change the settings. So that is like a very simple, very, very simple tip, but it's still very, very meaningful in the world we are operating. The other piece of ethical considerations, which I think are worth discussion, is bias in data sets. Again, how is this model being trained? And is it producing narrow or exclusionary outputs? For example, if you prompt female model, what kind of ethnical background will that model be? Will that be stereotyped in a certain direction? And some models might do. So it's just important to know where the data is coming from and even test for yourself whether it is something that is in line with your own values. The other big ethical consideration is label displacement. Are we going to see entry-level roles being disappearing? How will it evolve? I can say that we are already seeing entry-level roles across several industries disappearing, certainly fashion disappearing as well. How will it evolve? I believe it's still too early to say. But there is, according to the World Economic Forum, there will be more jobs created than jobs lost. But the transition it might be painful, let's put it this way. The transition might evolve more losses than gain in the beginning. So we need to be prepared for that and prepare our students for that to make sure that they are competitive in their roles, so that they understand the use of technology, so that they can be successful in setting themselves in the market, but also exploring other opportunities that the technology will be bringing. The third one was the one that Nicole was alluding. AI reducing sampling waste, it improves forecast, but will it accelerate the pace of fashion, leading to overproduction? And this is an ethical consideration. It doesn't necessarily need to, but it might, because we will be producing or creating faster. But creating faster doesn't mean developing faster and producing faster. It can mean that we just have more options, that we can have better decisions, that we are closer to market and we are serving the market better and reducing failed sales. So the sustainability paradox is one that it is about ethics rather than technology. And I think that is one that is really, really important to discuss with young talent. And I have that question quite often when I come to the workshops with students. And it's an ethical discussion. And I think it's good that they ask the questions, and it's good that they're prepared for it as well. Another one that I get a lot of the times and required quite some research to answer is what's more sustainable. We knew for research, and at the Fabricant we did quite a lot of research on the digitalization of the chain, and we could prove that a digital sample would be 97% more sustainable than producing a physical sample. But is it still true in the age of AI? And given that AI is very energy demanding and water demanding, is it still holding truth? And yes, it is still holding truth. The creation of one physical garment is extremely demanding in CO2 and in water, not to talk about chemicals and materials and transport, even putting that all aside. And when we look at digital sample creation, considering that I would do 20 AI generations, which is more than the average of our users, to be very honest, it is still infinitely less than the production of a physical sample. So it's important to know that while the technology is energy consuming, unfortunately, fashion is even worse, the physical side of fashion. So that is an important one to take home as well from an education point of view. We don't need to stay away from the technology. The technology is there to facilitate and in many ways to remove the necessity of physicality during the sample phase, but also during the post-sample phase and kind of reducing our MOQs and creating more opportunities of on-demand production or close-to-demand production. Another question that I receive a lot of times, which is more like, what's going to happen to my job? And I'm very excited about this one, is what's the role of the fashion designer? And what I tell the students is, more than ever, the fashion designer is such an important figure in what we're going through. Because AI produces quantity, but it has no idea about quality. AI just give you options, but who is going to decide that these options are the right ones is the human behind it. The human that is the curator, that is the editor, that's the storyteller, that is the director of the technology. More emphasis on taste, values, and ethics than ever. If anything, what I do hope for educators that are here is give a lot of attention to developing the tastes, to developing the values, to have the ethical discussions together with the students so that they develop a point of view. And the other side that is not going to be replaced by AI is the craft, is the knowledge of materials, constructs, patterns, because that's when creativity comes into place. Otherwise, it's just a beautiful picture. But the creativity comes from having a point of view and know how to translate that point of view through materials, through constructs, through ideas into something tangible. And that is what I hope we'll put a lot of more emphasis moving forwards. I know that we already do a lot in the course, but there is less need for tools and there is more need for taste. Because again, AI can't replace the intuition, the lived experiences, the emotions, the aesthetics, the point of view, and the craftsmanship. And I always use this image because the image is from John Galliano's last show with Magella. And these were so theatrical, these were so beautiful, every detail was so thought through that to me is like is the beacon of what fashion is all about. It is a true emotional involving experience. AI can't do that. Only humans can do. And ultimately, the message to take home, also for the students, is that the future is hybrid, and you better jump in right now. AI plus human means a superhuman. It's about augmenting creativity, not replacing it, not automating it. And new workflows are emerging, and they require new skills. Like some people talked about prompting, right? It's a new skill. We didn't know about it. But it's reinventing the workflows. We see right now with the users of our tools, we see the emergence of very different ways to operate that are freeing up creativity very early in the process rather than constraining it. And that is it's very refreshing to see. Curating and directing a machine is it's a new skill. And critically evaluating the output is also a new skill. So being critical is super important. But what is super interesting as well from this young talent is they will be directing somebody right now from the get-go. AI is like a team member, and they need to learn to direct and to manage the team members, the AI team members, which will benefit them further on when they need to have teams of AI members and human members, right? So it's also like a new skill to become a true director from the get-go. Ultimately, what we see across the board is more time being freed for creative work. That is, again, genuinely human, that it really involves taste and creativity. The designers that are using our platform, so often I come in contact with them and they say like, oh, my job is fun again. Because I'm not running and rushing and getting stressed around the clock to deliver. I really have time now to explore and to be creative. And that is super refreshing. That's what we do it for. Yeah, I love that, Dennis. Yeah, think as a creative directors. It's it's definitely what we are seeing. And now, as educators, what are the things that you need to, I would say, pay attention to when integrating AI into the curriculum, which is different than maybe integrating another tool? There is a level of policy, and the policy is, I think I touched upon in the very early beginning. How are we allowing students to use AI? How we are assessing their work and grading them? So there is a little bit of guidelines to address AI transparency, not to prohibit it, but to make it almost like make them feel proud of using it, rather than making them feel guilt of using it, but making them be clear about what did they use, how did they use, and raising the awareness of ethical guidelines again, and integrity and use of data. The other piece is the curriculum. Where does AI literacy naturally fits in your existing curriculums? You don't need to reinvent it, but there are ways to fit it in very natural manners that we have experienced so far with some of the leading schools we are partnering with. And then which tools make sense for you? What are the tools that actually work for your organization? Yeah, Bruce, I love this. What you just said. Galliano hired to design for Zara to add fantasy. Yeah, that's it. Zara is honestly Zara is an AI machine. I was going through them as a study case. They use so much data, right? But yet they need Galliano to bring that magic, right? So how can we balance that as we move forward? Not only being just fully data machine, but actually having the creative, artistic genius next to it to pilot the tools. When we talk about the curriculum, I'm just going to show three approaches that we have seen, we have experienced again with the organizations that we partnered with so far. There is one approach that I call it the one module. You just carve in a module and there is an assignment from beginning to end, and Malmo is doing it, and I'm super excited about their work, where you have a start and you have an end, and AI is there as your tool to make the assignment complete. The other one is Marangoni, who we partner with, and I'm super proud of it. They're definitely front runners in the adoption of technology, and where we developed a 4 months professional course. So it's really for professionals. It's a 4 month, and it's all about fashion and AI. And then on the other spectrum, there is some way from Malaysia where all students have access to the tool for 1 year and they can use it as they want. Because they feel that is a tool that is basically can be complementary to so many topics within the curriculum. So I'm curious for the tutors here and for the educators around us, which one feels right for you, for your organization, for where you are, for the one that you feel like this could work, I can fit in. Is it more of a one module? Is it a course? Or is it just another tool that you can give access to all students as they wish to use? So tell me on the chat what your thoughts are. And let's learn from each other. Four years of study, that's amazing. All free, all students, yeah, I love that. One module, all students 1 year, yeah. One module, yeah. One module is an easy one. Honestly, a lot of organizations struggle with the bureaucracy of trying to get budgets or trying to get curriculums organized, and one module just fits in, gives the exposure, gives the experience before you can commit with something bigger if it's the way forward. We also see a lot of organizations that already have more of a 3D program built in, that then AI is just complementary, becomes like one module next to other, I would say, more technology-oriented practices. So it works really well. And if anything, I would say better do one module than do nothing. Polymodal throughout the business. Okay, different for design. How is it for design, Zim? Is design using AI at all at Polymodal? One model to catch up with, Bruce? Yeah. So sometimes depends on the cost, absolutely, depends on the budgets available. Absolutely. I think there's more for like I invite you all to think what makes sense. It's I'm very much about start, do something, right? Because it is already out there. Intro sessions, then 1 year license where they can find their ways. Yeah, great. Thanks for sharing. And again, I think this is forum to find each other and share your experiences. I'll go very quickly through the fabricants, just so that you know, because when the examples I just showed are always when we are introducing our tools in the course. And basically, the Fabricant Intelligent Tools, as we call it, is a suite of tools that take from the concept generation, the creation of the designs, introducing virtual models, making them all the looks, clothing for internal presentations, e-commerce, marketing, content creation, up until the last mile, which is sewing pattern and tech packs. So our vision is to really have the entire fashion chain of concept development up until manufacturing powered by AI, and that's what we're delivering. And that's what we make accessible to the organizations that participate with us. There is a little video, which I'm not sure if the volume is gonna play, that shows the tool very quickly in action. And that's like in a nutshell, very quickly, the entire process of all the tools, and we're just missing here the tech pack and the sewing pattern, which are coming very soon. And ultimately, what we notice, and we talk again, we work with the industry and we work with education institutes, is that there is this before and after AI, and what stays the same: the creative brief, the taste, the creative direction, the judgment, the ability to say yes or no, and the storytelling, right? But what significantly changed and is changing is the time between idea and output and the cost of all iterations. And also, what is changing a lot is less tools are needed within that process. And putting it into a kind of a timeline, on the left, we have the traditional workflow, which, as we all know, it's like I would say, I don't even know any brand that can do this in 6 months, but mostly more like close to 12 to 18 months if you're talking about a normal retail brand. With AI really reducing to half or less. So the entire, from your concept and trend research up until market, we are seeing it being delivered in 3 months, right? Physical samples throughout the process, as we know, 3 to 5 physical samples for checking and for communication. Ultimately, what we lack a lot is good tools of communication, even with 3D, which has been introduced, and we are very much part of the 3D introduction. Still, we see that very few brands are able to truly adopt it at its best. But with AI, we see that is being reduced because communication becomes more clear. So is either one or sometimes even less. And also photography costs, very, very high, prohibitive for a lot of brands to operate, small brands at a global scale with photography and presentation. And now the costs are minimum. So that has been a gain in speed, a gain in less physicality, and a gain in costs. It's leveling the playing field as well. And the exciting thing is that we feel that more brands can compete on the global sphere than we had before. And that's definitely a plus, a big plus of the AI integrations. The impact as presented by our users is up to 50% faster production cycles, reduction in physical sampling, and 90% cost savings of content. Why this matters for education is because now it's the time to learn, to teach, and to learn how to direct AI, right? The output is teachable, and the skills are accessible, and the tools are accessible. But we need to teach how to direct this new team member. The gap between the classroom and the industry practice will narrow significantly if we start educating the students right now. And the last one, which is my passion, is the rise of the new fashion entrepreneurs. And what I mean is, and why this is a passion is because I do believe, as much as I'm a big tech positivist, is that we are coming into a place that there will be job displacements. And I believe that in the next 2 years, the shape of the industry will be very different. And while there will be job displacements, I think right now there has never been such a great time to launch your own business, if that's your passion. And I feel that the students, I feel that this new talent need to hear that very loud and clear, because right now they think it's impossible to launch a label unless they are from some wealthy background. And I heard that literally in classrooms. And that's not true anymore. And I have examples within our users that actually are fashion entrepreneurs, and because of our tools are able to make it through. One example is Wendy Hein from Sweden. She has a full made-to-measure model of fashion. She designs and she creates all the creations with our tools, all the photography in her website with our tool. If you buy it, she will then produce. It's not only about learning the tools, let's be honest. You need to be and want to be an entrepreneur. You need to set up your manufacturing. You need to be able to market, but the cost of operation are significantly lower. And the next one, which was launched very recently, is Nicole from Italy, and his background is in men's shirt, and he's just launched this entire brand with digitally printed silk shirts, all done again using AI tools. All the photography, all the creations are with the Fabricant tools, and he is able to create a label, launch a label without producing any physical sample. And it again is an on-demand production model. And I'm super proud of what he has achieved so far, and I really hope that his label is going to be successful, because we need those examples. So for us, as we come to an end, very close to an end, key takeaways for today is AI is not coming, it's already there. And I do hope that you're able to provide a framework to students to be able to deal with this new tool and open up new opportunities in their careers. The skills that matter the most are not what AI can replicate. That's the other side. Let's give them access to the tools. Let's give them the framework of ethics, and let's give them the knowledge of the craft and the ability to develop a good point of view and to manage this powerful tool in the hands. The industry has already moved. It's going very, very fast. And we need to prepare this new generation to be able not only to navigate it, but to be the ones actually even leading in the organization that they join. And if they decide to go their own way as an entrepreneur, that they know that it's now possible. So key topics to bring home to the students that I find that they have and really, really important for them to feel comfortable with is IP topic. One that is in motion. IP is one that is now being honestly discussed in several forums. And I believe that there will be more ruling coming further, but the case right now is still very shallow. Sustainability is an important one. And again, how to lead AI moving forward. Today was the first, I would say, part of a fashion curriculum that I gave out to a lot of the participants that are here today. Actually, this whole webinar came out of a huge demand for the curriculum, which I open sourced in a post in LinkedIn. And I got so overwhelmed that I took the initiative to create this webinar to disseminate the knowledge. So today you're getting the module 1. Everybody that has been here today will get it, all this presentation via email so that you can use it. Please use it as you see fit, introduce it, call me up if you have questions, and I really hope that this was helpful for you to spread the news. The other modules, I might do webinars about them. If you're really interested, let me know. But this is an example of the modules that we have tested and developed and distributed with some of the organizations we partner with, and proved to be really good. First is what we covered today. The second one is more the concept development, collection development, and then the AI-powered fashion imagery and animation, which more like the visual storytelling side, using the Fabricant tools. I think there are a lot of questions and good thoughts shared in the chat, which I'm super humbled to have. Thank you so much for being interacting all the time. I couldn't always look at it, but I think this was really good. There is so many people that are knowledgeable in the space here that joined. And again, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge. This space is moving very fast. So I think it's more about us helping each other to navigate and make sure that this new generation of fashion talent doesn't get left behind. Thank you. If there is any question, I now have all the ears in the chat, so I'm happy to answer. Thank you so much. Thank you, Tanurish. Do you think that the wide backlash on AI visuals by audience and public may indicate the need of not made with AI label or workflow? No, I don't think so. I think, I've been in the industry long enough, and I remember when we started doing photoshopping of imageries, right? There was a lot of backlash as well. I think it's just that. I really believe that it's very soon getting normalized. Them as talk about Gucci just shows the sentiment. I think it's just the order of the day, and but it will be normalized very soon. It's already being normalized, honestly. When you have Zara, H&M just changing all the imagery into AI, you really know that it hit the masses, not to come back. That said, I do hope that there is more love for craftsmanship, for things that are handmade. I think that's absolutely a natural trend that's coming for a long time already. I hope that continues to go strong, and that we value also human creations as much as we will get very used to AI generated creations. Yes, so I'm going to share also the curriculum, Natalia, that I shared with the other people. So everybody that was present today will get the curriculum, which is just an outline of every module. We'll get the presentation today. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach to me at Adriana at the Fabricant. I hope to see you guys again. It was an enormous pleasure. This is really like the mission for me to touch more students that I can personally through you. And please take the message forwards, and let's prepare this new generation. We'll in the future have to create our own website. Yeah, that's already happening, Sweta. That's absolutely happening with AI. You can create a website. Maybe I'll create a module, just how you can create your fashion websites, because it's a very valuable topic and very, very easy these days. Where does 3D design come into it now? That's a very good question, and we get that all the time. I still feel that the pipeline still involves 3D design when you want accuracy and you want to translate into manufacturing. At the same time, we are working on AI-powered, I would say, pattern making that will really speed up the process. But again, a lot of the brands and creators we work with is still use 3D in the pipeline, mostly for the manufacturing processes. How one can consider the IP rights in the future? Oh, that's a very good one. I wish I knew, but my guess is that there will be more ways to protect intellectual property that is generated by humans together with AI. I believe so. Do you think 3D design will become obsolete in a few years? You're putting me on spot right now. I'm afraid I think so. Will you have something similar to Clo 3D for pattern making? We'll have something complementary. coming very soon, which means it's going to speed up the process of pattern making. For whether you're using it a 3D design, a 3D engine to do the pattern, or a 2D one. All right. Any final questions? I think we're good for today. Thank you again. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure hosting the session. It was a pleasure spending time with you. I hope to see you again, and good luck. Good luck pioneering it, leading the space. You're here because you are leading the space. So take it forward and and share the knowledge with our young talent. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you. Thank you. And watch out for my email soon in your inbox. Is there any upcoming tools for tech packs using AI? Yeah, there are few, Sveta, there are few in the market. We're bringing one as well. And I think it's a space that is also going to be automated fairly soon. Thank you, Natalia. Have a good evening or good day, depending where you're calling from. Thank you so much.